So, guys, this country has been backsliding for a while, but the backsliding just went into hyperdrive. Look at this, man. This is in Time magazine. They say, U.S. added to global human rights watch list over declining civil liberties. So a country that viewed itself as, hey, man, we're all about freedom, we're all about liberty, we're all about justice, we're all about democracy, right? We're about all the highfalutin words you can think of, right? Well, it turns out if you actually follow what we're doing, you go, I don't know, man. Doesn't look like much of a democracy anymore. So here we go. The United States was added Sunday to the Civicus Monitor Watch List, a research tool that publicizes the status of freedoms and threats to civil liberties worldwide. The move comes amid President Donald Trump's assault on democratic norms and global cooperation. All right, so let me just point out about that. There's no denying that that's happening. There's just not. Like, if you deny it, you're just not telling the truth. I mean, global cooperation, he pulled out of the World Health Organization, right? He pulled out of the UN Human Rights Council. He did a freeze on all of our, health agencies, giving the public information and talking in an interagency sense with other parts of the government. So basically leaving the states to fend on their own when it comes to, bird flu, for example, and the spread of the flu and the measles breakout. And globally, I mean, he took one of our top allies, Canada, and literally made them an enemy. Only 23% of Canadians now view the U.S. in a positive light. Why? Because he's threatening them. And he's saying, we want to make you the 51st state. We're going to tariff the shit out of you. We're going to take away your water rights. And if you don't agree to that, we want to change the border anyway. We think the border between our countries is not right. We want the U.S. to take more of that land. We want to take Greenland. We want to militarily take Panama. We want to own Gaza. We want war with Mexico. He signed an executive order to say the cartels are terrorist organizations on day one. The reason he did that is to give himself the legal authority without Congress to go in there militarily to Mexico. There is no doubt that we have destroyed our status in the world. We are no longer a global superpower. We're no longer the nation that everybody looks to, right? But if anything, we're the fucking bully that eventually we're going to get punched back in our fucking face. And at some point, the world is going to unite and put us in our place for causing this much trouble with this many countries. Basically, all of our allies, except Israel and Saudi Arabia, who are our worst allies, all of our allies were going, fuck you, and we're slapping tariffs on them and slapping them in the face. And all of the enemy states, it's like, tee-hee, we fell in love. Me and Kim Jong-un fell in love, ladies and gentlemen. And assault on the democratic norms, I mean, we don't even need to get into that. As you guys know, they're now literally arresting pro-Palestine protesters on college campuses, lying about them and saying they're pro-Hamas when they're not, and trying to deport them even if they are legal permanent residents. They're putting immigrants in Guantanamo Bay. To say there's just an assault on democratic norms and global cooperation might be too kind. It's more than an assault. We've just gone full authoritarian. So they continue here. A global alliance and network of civil society groups, including Amnesty International, that advocates for greater citizen action in areas where civil liberties are limited. In a press release, the organization also cited the administration's cut of more than 90% of its foreign aid contracts and its crackdown on diversity, equity, and inclusion, which Trump called illegal and immoral discrimination programs through executive action. By the way, I should also point out that rolling back the DEI stuff, it just made it so that now the government is under no circumstances do they now have to just try to not discriminate. That was the point of these programs he rolled back. It was like a civil rights era thing. It's not DEI in the sense that many people think of it, of some forced class that you have to go to where they tell you that you're racist and check your bias. It's got nothing to do with that. This DEI that they're talking about, it's like old school civil rights type stuff where they say, look, the government has to at least make an effort to not exclude people based on arbitrary characteristics. That was the idea. He fucking rolled it back. Okay. The Trump administration seems hell-bent on dismantling the system of checks and balances, which are the pillars of a democratic society, said the interim co-secretary general of Civicus in a press release. Restrictive executive orders, unjustifiable institutional cutbacks, and intimidation tactics through teetering pronouncements by senior officials in the administration are creating an atmosphere to chill democratic dissent, a cherished American ideal. Yeah, that's literally happening. Trump has sued, 3, 4, 5 different news outlets because he didn't like their reporting or he didn't like a poll that they did. Some of them are literally sending him money at trying to settle so that it doesn't go to court, but it's really just a bribe to get him off their ass. This is what we're seeing. On top of taking away free speech, arresting people for protesting, etc., saying we're going to ban illegal protests. Well, guess what? Eventually, illegal protests going to include can't protest Elon, can't protest Trump. This is where they're going. This is where they're going. Other countries on the watch list include the Democratic Republic of Congo, Italy, Pakistan, and Serbia. That's great. That's great. We love being on a list with the Congo, Italy, Pakistan, and Serbia. Civicus outlines the state of civil rights through 5 categories: open, narrowed, obstructed, repressed, and closed. So I actually think they're being kind to the U.S. here because they put us in the narrowed category. So like, okay, most people still have their rights, but in certain instances, they're being revoked. So they say we're like one step down from open. I would go further than that, bro. I would really say we're at least one level below that, right? Where's the list again? I just lost my place, but we have to be at least one level below narrowed because the stuff I'm seeing now is just, I mean, there's no defending it, and it's very clearly brazenly authoritarian, right? So the empire is collapsing at a rapid clip, right? And I don't want us to have an empire, but I do want us to have a democracy which cares about human rights and international law and justice and fairness and equality. Like, I think that's what we all want, right? Or at least all people watching this show, reasonable liberals and leftists, that's what you want. And we're going from superpower asshole empire to like robber baron controlled oligarchy and fascist dictatorship. And it's happening so fucking quick, right? And so we gotta stop it before it's too late. We just have to stop it before it's too late, right? We can't let this go on. It's that simple. And, you know, all the answers are very simple. They're very straightforward. They're right in front of you. Some of them are less serious moves. Some of them are more serious moves. Anything from as simple as just picking up the phone and calling Congress and having your voice heard. That's one thing you could do. Organizing, protesting, trying to stop Elon and his Doge sycophants from even entering government buildings. That's another thing. Massive boycotts, including of Elon, which, by the way, that's actually working right now as we speak. Just forcing a monetary penalty on him for all of the fucking bullshit, all the illegal actions. We need to learn from the civil rights movement and previous protests. And I mean, really, at the end of it all, probably a general strike is necessary to try to get this train back on the tracks, right? That's probably the big one, which just grind the economy to a halt and make your demands, right? Including that Elon's got to fucking go. But even with Trump, shit, I mean, how can we sit through another fucking 4 years of this? How can we just watch this happen? Like, he's got to fucking go too, right? So, God damn it. I wish I had more hope for you guys and better advice for you guys, but you read this and your only takeaway is like, yep, they're right. It's exactly what's happening. We are backsliding at a rapid clip. And by the way, even people who aren't political are noticing it. I have friends who are not remotely political who are texting me like, man, shit seems kind of fucked right now. You don't say. You don't say. And we can't just sit back and watch it happen. The people have to hop into action. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.